Alright everyone, Bill Maher has a habit of saying things that inflame people. Oftentimes it's actually that he's inflaming people on the left. Like he'll point out that the DNC is corrupt and fucked up, or that the Democrats are doomed because they don't know what they're doing. And he really gets it from the far left. They're like, oh my god, you know, you're trying to demoralize people. Yeah, you're a secret conservative or whatever. And then of course recently, he had like a 5 out of 10 on the outrage reaction scale when he came out and said, well, I pray that we have another recession because that's the only thing that can stop Trump. So, you know, he's fantasizing about millions of people slipping into poverty. That's apparently, to him, that's justified. Like, he's sad that the economy is doing well because Trump gets credit for, you know, lording over a good economy. Some of these people still think it's the Obama economy, except on the off weekend or so when it looks like the stock market's going to slide backwards or wages didn't grow quite enough. Then it's definitely the Trump economy. But then when it recovers the next fiscal quarter or whatever, it goes straight back to the Obama economy. These people's minds are totally fried. They don't understand economics in any meaningful way. They don't understand anything, otherwise they wouldn't be far left. But, you know, be that as it may, he's finally found, though, something that can really, really outrage people. Like, to the point where he's trending worldwide style outrage. He dared to disrespect the man himself, Stan Lee. Now, of course, I have no problem with Stan Lee. I have no problem with, like, comics and stuff. I'm not really into that sort of stuff. I guess Batman is the closest thing to, like, a superhero, supervillain sort of thing that I ever really enjoyed. Like, Batman versus the Joker sort of stuff is pretty cool. You know, the cartoons on TV. The old Batman's episodes from, like, the 60s and shit, the really corny ones, those are good, but they're not exactly the most action-packed things you can imagine. You know, they transform the villains and characters over time. It's sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. I think Batman having armor on, as opposed to just, you know, sort of a onesie is maybe an improvement, but it was kind of funny at the time. Being in his boxers, basically, wearing his underwear on the outside of his costume, never made a whole lot of sense. I don't know why they did that. It just blows my mind. Here's the thing, though. Can I just posit something? And I know that those of you who really like the Marvel Universe, fucking Spider-Man and shit, you probably will jump down my throat for this. Why is there so much disproportionate sadness and outrage over this, as opposed to some of the things Maher has said that are demonstrably 1,000 times worse? What is it about comic culture that gets people so angry if you criticize? Like, you criticize some obscure character, or you don't know what some obscure character among the thousands and thousands of, like, C-tier throwaways that they develop all of the fucking time, literally, so that they can insert it into 2 panels in a comic book or something before they get killed by the superhero, or they kill themselves, or they get dissolved in a vat of acid accidentally, or some crazy shit goes on, or they get died and then they resurrect 10 years later again to join some group of supervillains for 10 seconds before they get killed by Batman. They flip out, they go crazy. But meanwhile, Maher can say crazy shit like, hey, I hope that there's another recession because it was such a wonderful time. See, I'm rich, so as Maher, I'm rich, so I don't care. Because you can be poor all you want. You poor people you're supposed to sell me burgers and shit anyway. It just seems so out of touch and so disrespectful and insane, really. But this is the straw that breaks the camel's back for people. Well, I have no problem with Maher, but this is the last straw. He disrespected Stan Lee. Batman forever. Fucking Superman. It's a comic culture. It's fucking nuts. And I've already run up against it before. I've like speak to people and they like comic stuff and they're like, well, I'm not really into it. Oh, how can you not like the fucking Fantastic Four? How can you not like, you know, whatever fucking shit you have now? I can't even keep up with it and I don't care. It's like, for me, the superhero, supervillain stuff stops being cool around the time that they overplayed their hand and basically killed off the Superman franchise. Because he had been #1, and then they make those really corny, like, 80s and 90s era Superman flicks, and they all sort of fall flat and bomb completely, and it's like, from then on, it just became lame. I think it is a little bit lame when someone's so obsessed over it. They're like, here, you know, come to my house and come see my collection, okay. And they open up the room, it's just reams and reams of comics and posters and figurines and plushies, which there will never be a Styx plushie. This is the official Marvel branded disco ball, and it's like, okay, I understand that you like these franchises, you think they're cool and stuff. It's still consumerism. It's still a bunch of cheap plastic shit. Ultimately, and you baby it, like almost like it's your kids or something. Like, no, these comics aren't for reading. They're just really important to me. So I keep them sealed in plastic, never take them out, and I dust them every day. You know, I have them enclosed in this closet where I can't even see them because the light, oh my God, it might stay, it might bleach them over time. That'd be terrible. Lose their value, lose their sentimental value because, you know, nothing really demonstrably wrong with it, but oh, it has a little bit of bleaching along the spine. I can't accept that. I don't understand it. Like, you know, it's just a little bit weird. At some point, it's like, it is just consumerism. It's like Apple fanboys when they sit in line for 15 hours to get the new latest iCrap product. It's the same shit. Except that the Apple product is supposedly functional. You know, until it breaks and they won't even allow you to repair it yourself, you have to take it and trade it in or some crazy shit for 10 times the cost. Apple really is the crummiest company, which is because they're such cutthroats and such backstabbers and such hyperventilating morons at Apple. That's why they're the most successful company. Because they undercut and they backstab and they do the predatory multinational thing. Pretend to be a U.S. firm, but it's all made in China and costs 10 times as much. But Maher, he said these outrageous things before, and he likes to do this. He's doing this for attention, largely. It's a good branding effort. But it is funny to see how people take the bait, and they get so angry about this. Oh my God, he's talking about how comics are not earth-shattering and world-changing. Well, he's right. They're not. They're not as important as like some public policy that affects everyone in the world. No, you're a pile of comics. Okay, that's fine. It's all right. Collect what you want. That's you do you. But it's not earth-moving. It's not world-changing. It's ultimately just a consumerist franchise that's marketed to certain demographics of people, and then they spend money on it. They see a movie, or they buy the on-demand, or whatever. They get the ream of comics. They buy the plushie. It's consumerism, okay? You identify with the character, fantasize about being Batman or something. That's fine, but it's not as important as some of the other things Maher has said. No, absolutely not. And the fact that people are so angry over it is funny to me. That's about all. Peace out.